If you're wondering why I haven't posted any new original content to YouTube for at least 7 months, and why you haven't seen me go live on YouTube or any other platform, this video is going to clear that up for you. And to be honest, this video was pretty hard for me to make. I'm actually recording this intro after recording most of the video, just because I couldn't get this clip out. And so stay tuned, because this video is going to explain that and a bunch more of my failures.
Reezy Resells. Follow the hustle.
Rewind your clocks back a little bit. Just follow me real quick. So it's late 2019. I'm doing good with the YouTube channel. I'm doing good with business. I'm doing good in life, in my relationships, etc. And then we dropped the Gary Vee interview, where I interviewed Gary for episode number 100 of my podcast. And that's when things got a little weird. And by weird, I mean, that was basically the beginning of the pandemic. So around January or so in 2020, I hosted my first event. We rented out a ranch. We had a bunch of resellers in. I had some of my friends and colleagues speak. It was a great time. And around that time, COVID was kind of just something people were kind of talking about. They were just showing like webcams of people in China falling over. I don't think people in America were taking it very seriously. And then right around March of 2020, lockdown started here in the United States and everybody was quarantined. And honestly, that's when everything started to change for me big time. I'm sure I'm not the only person or business or organization that has been changed due to the pandemic. So this is kind of relatable, right? We're all dealing with this. We're all going through some stuff. But me personally, I feel like the chain of events that occurred to me has left me on the other side, basically a new person. And I'm still struggling with trying to figure out how to take that new person and fit them into the old puzzle that I had before, or what is the new paradigm and how do they all fit together? You know what I mean? I'm confused. I don't know. So what happened after the pandemic started and quarantine was enacted? Well, first off, we actually lost our supplier for our bulk book operation in the warehouse. And that was not something that I saw coming at all, especially for our new business that we were just getting going. And it was extremely frustrating, to say the least. Mostly because we didn't have any backup suppliers, which is another lesson we learned. We should have had some backups going, right? We actually had some sources we could have locked down that we were like, no, we're good because we already have this other source, when in reality, maybe we should have did a little bit of business with them so that we would have had a backup. After we lost our supplier, eventually we didn't have any work for our employees to do. And so we lost our employees. And then I was just sitting there with an empty warehouse, mostly just skateboarding in it, because the deals that I was doing were retail arbitrage and online arbitrage of brand new products, not bulk books. And it just wasn't taking up much space in the warehouse. And also because it was quarantine and everything was locked down, the skate parks were actually closed. Me and the boys were actually able to get some private training facility skate sessions going on in there. But ultimately, losing our supplier and then losing our employees and basically just paying for a warehouse that I was not working in actually gave me a lot of clarity and made me realize that that wasn't something that I wanted to do. I didn't want to run a bulk book business operation. I didn't want to have to hire and fire people or train people. And I don't like managing people. These were just things that I realized I had been struggling with them, and I was trying to push through them in order to grow the business. But at the same time, I didn't really enjoy it. And I don't know if I realized it or not, but once the warehouse was empty and we had no other options of what to do with it, and I was like, I'm happy to skate in here, this is fun. It kind of gave me that clarity and that self-awareness to understand that I don't think that was my path. Now, during this time, and actually before I ended up closing down the operation at the warehouse and fully shutting it all down, we were actually doing a ton of retail arbitrage and online arbitrage. And when I say a ton, I mean a load. And the reason was because of all the shortages that were happening due to lockdown and pandemic and transportation issues and whatnot. No, I wasn't price gouging. Okay, I'm not a price gouger, but we might have been doing a little scalping. Okay, it's not illegal. We're resellers. Don't hate me. And while I was making great money doing retail arbitrage and online arbitrage of all kinds of products like chlorine and weights and pools and various gym equipment and clippers, some of that stuff you guys have seen the videos on, it wasn't fulfilling. I didn't need the money. I've been making good money off YouTube for a long time, more than I was making off of reselling, at least more than I was paying myself for my salary, and I'm happier, right? It's less risky, and I'm actually helping people and making a difference, not just making money. If you guys know me, you know that's kind of just how I do. I want to help people. I'm not here to just make money and scam people. Why does that sound so terrible? I'm not scamming anybody, promise. Another thing that happened during the lockdown and basically all throughout the pandemic that really affected me was just how people treated each other and how the whole thing affected human behavior. You know, some people were really pro this, some people were really anti this, and people were not coming together to explain things, you know, logically. And it kind of just made me sick. And so instead of dealing with any of that stuff, I just skateboarded as much as possible. In a way, it was like my medication. It is how I coped with the situation. And the only thing I can think of is that skateboarding is just skateboarding. It never cared about most stuff, right? So when the pandemic hit, it was actually kind of cool for skateboarding because all these businesses were closed and you could go street skate at places you couldn't normally street skate at. And at the same time, a lot of skateboarders don't care about a lot of different things or are definitely not very judging types. And so it was kind of just kumbaya, focus on skateboarding, and that allowed me to get through the scenario. But at the same time, while that was very fulfilling and arguably very healthy for me to do, I mean, I love skateboarding, you guys probably know this, but over the last 2 years, from early 2020 till now, the amount of time I spend skateboarding per average on week probably went from like 4 to 8 hours to 40 plus hours, and that's just like average. And that also affected me and my personality and kind of made me rediscover an old passion of mine that I kind of put to the side for the longest time for my business and for YouTube. I mean, I had been skating, but just not a lot. I would just skate on Saturdays, you know, and not even when I first started YouTube, I wasn't even skating on Saturdays. There were months that would go by where I wouldn't skateboard. And I don't really want to draw on about skateboarding in this video, but I do want to note that I think that's how I was able to get through this. That's how I coped with everything. And at some point that actually became unhealthy and is kind of a form of an addiction. But I didn't really notice it until my progress started slowing. You know, once I learned all of my old tricks back, got all my agility, balance, and I started learning new stuff, then it started getting harder and harder to learn new stuff. And so the dopamine hits that I was getting from skateboarding were coming less and less. And then I would realize that feeling in the back of my head more like, hey, you need to make a YouTube video, or hey, you need to do a live, like there's people that need you. What are you doing out here, you know? That is ultimately why I'm here now, is because I'm coming back to the table. I'm getting back on the horse. I realize that people do need me. I see all of your guys' comments and DMs. If you actually engage with me in any place, you know I do still answer comments and DMs, but the way that I changed through the pandemic, it's like I have this new type of anxiety that I never had before, and some type of depression or whatever. I don't know. I'm like bipolar. I don't know. I go from not wanting to be around people to super wanting to be around people to I'm gonna make this video, or nah, maybe I'll not make this video, or I'm gonna make it tomorrow. That just keeps going on, and then you have negative momentum building and uncertainty and doubt in yourself. Not to mention that since I'm focusing more on education now and less on reselling itself, should I even be making videos? You know, who am I to teach people how to sell if I'm not actively earning a living through doing those activities? You know what I mean? Sorry to just spew it or whatever, but all that stuff just kept pounding on top of me and on top of me, and I just kind of just kept skateboarding and forgetting about it. But it's not all bad, okay? One of the good things that came from getting back into skateboarding and rediscovering my passion for it is I decided that I wanted to start a skateboard company, not to make money, just to actually have a skateboard company and to utilize all those skills that I know in business and e-commerce and marketing and branding, et cetera, and give back to the community. You know what I mean? I could sponsor different homies and put people on that need to get attention, that actually deserve attention. And I can give boards to people, and I can give people packages, and I can create those moments of happiness for others within this field of skateboarding, this bubble that has actually made me so happy in my lifetime, right? It's actually called Flippin' Supply Co. You guys can go check it out. flippinsupply.co, flippinsupply.com. I bought all the websites, go check it out. But we got skateboards. I'm actually hand screening some of them in my garage. I did the artwork myself. I actually purchased some artwork from other skateboarders, and I actually invested a ton of money into buying a heat transfer machine. So I'm not trying to push that in this video really, but if you guys want to check it out, it's kind of like the pre-release for the YouTube homies that haven't been following on Instagram. I'll put the link down there in the description, but I will make another video shortly, probably titled, I started a skateboard company, or whatever, you know, I invested X dollars into a skateboard company, whatever will make people click on it, you know the game. Early 2020, I didn't even have 200,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. And now recording this video, it's mid-July 2022, and we're about to break 420,000 subscribers. So to get 200,000 subscribers across those 2 years, and especially with the type of evergreen content that I have and having a large back catalog of it, my revenue not only was stabilized for a long period, but it actually increased. And I didn't have to increase the effort of the YouTube channel. Obviously, I should have went with the trend, you know, grew that sucker, but I was comfortable and I rested on my laurels. I made a bed out of my laurels. So not only was I not financially motivated, another thing happened. YouTube released the shorts for the platform, and I had the team go through the old catalog of all the old videos and start making shorts content, vertical videos, 60 seconds or less. And we started posting those one a day to the channel, and the channel started blowing up even more. And you guys, I can't stress this enough. If you're a creator and you're not posting shorts on your channel, you should definitely be posting shorts. My most viewed video is a short that was generated from the Home Depot video, and that short has over 10 million views. I think over 11 million views right now. And while it's only earned me a few $100s, because shorts don't earn you a lot of money, it has garnered me over 70,000 subscribers. So of the 11 million people that watched it, 70,000 or whatever of them turned into subscribers and then went and watched the back catalog, which brings up the views, the revenue, the CPM, the watch time, all that stuff, makes it get suggested more in the algorithm. And so things were going good for me. There wasn't necessarily a need to change it, and my focus wasn't on creating content because I was just pumped to be back in the thick of something that I love so much, and almost forgot about that. I kind of just shrugged everything off, and days would go by where I wouldn't even think about, oh, it's been 2 months since you posted a YouTube video or whatever. To be honest, I'm not really sure what made me snap out of it. Maybe it was a book that I read recently or something I heard someone say, but I kind of just remembered some things that I had forgotten for a long time. You know, I forgot that when I'm depressed and I don't feel motivated, that I need to go to YouTube and type motivation and then just listen. You know, it doesn't even matter who it is or what playlist, just any of them. It just doesn't matter. And just listen to that and get what I need out of it so that I can move forward. You know what I mean? Because life's not easy. And, you know, hiding under the covers forever is not really going to fix anything. And no one's going to come to save me, because no one, you know what I mean, cares about your problems really, except for yourself. You know what I mean? Other people can pretend to or whatever. But there was some things that definitely needed to be fixed. And it was time to address them. You know what I mean? Because things were being affected. Not just my business and not just my marriage, but my relationships with other people, with my friends, with the Reezy Media team, with people in my Discord group, with my relation to attention to things I should be focusing on. A lot of things took a hit for the worst, and I'm really glad that I snapped out of this, or I'm beginning to snap out of this. I don't even know if I'm snapping out of this. And this video is honestly the first step to me overcoming whatever this anxiety is that I have, that I don't even know where it really came from, because it wasn't a thing, you know what I mean? But communicating with others about my problems, as well as focusing on learning to listen to others and understand, has been a real help. I don't really know what the teaching point is for this video, but I just wanted to let you guys know that I apologize. I'm sorry that I haven't been there for you for these last 7 months, because I could have been there. There's a lot of you that need help, and I could have helped you and I didn't. So that time is over. I'm back. I'm getting back in the game. We're gonna start doing live streams again. I'm going to FlipCon in North Carolina. I'm gonna be speaking there. That's happening late August, I think the 24th or the 25th. Shout out Harry Tornado for inviting me to that. That's pretty awesome. I haven't actually been to an event since before the pandemic, so I am super excited to get out, get in the mix, and meet people. It's gonna be super fun. I got a ton of new good ideas for the channel that nobody on YouTube is doing in the reselling community that I can't wait to bring to the table. And again, I just apologize that I left you guys with all these fake gurus for so long. Go check out the website, flippandsupply.co, grab a skateboard, use code HOMIES with a 0 for 25% off, and I'm gonna throw in something a little extra special for you. If you made it to the end of the video and you're not actively selling on Amazon, please grab a copy of my free intro to Amazon course. It's actually my only course. I don't have one to sell you, but that free one, which can save you a lot of time and headache and get you on your way, it's down there in the description. So click on it. If you guys like the video, you know what to do. See you guys on the next one. Peace.